Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
And there we go. We're not having the full lot of it there. So, hello everybody, and thank you for joining us here. We're going to give a quick thoughts about the Stadia blog for today. So, we have got the three of us here. We've got Clyde Gamer. Clyde Gamer, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Duncan?
I am outstanding as per usual. I'm just happy to be here. And Barry, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. All ready for the weekend. Glad to be finished the week, but I'm good.
Yep, weekend time, so it's always good. So what we're here for, we've seen a couple of people on Twitter. We want a reaction to this, so we are going to give our reaction to this. Stadia have came out today, and they have given us a little blog post, and I'm very happy to say that it has got a lot of things what we have been asking for here, and it's for me this is a good start. So basically, what this blog post was saying is there's 9 games coming, and we have got dates for a number of these games. We have. Let's go from the Shantae, the Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition, and that is coming next week. Isn't that next week? 23rd, I think that's next week.
Yeah.
It's not next week. It's no 2 weeks time. That's Tuesday week. I'm thinking now. And then the other Shantae's Risky's Revenge is coming out that week as well. And we also have this game with the amazing name. It came from space and ate our brains. Awesome name of a game. Next, we have the big game, the biggest sports game in the world in FIFA. There may have my wooden spoon out there. That is coming on St. Patrick's Day. On March 17th, we've got Kays and the Wild Mask, which is coming March the 26th. And we have Judgment coming April the 23rd. And we've got these last two, I don't think actually have dates. So Killer Queen Black. And we also have Street Power Football. No date for that one. Was this Hellpoint as well, which doesn't have a date. So Clyde Gamer, what's your reaction to this?
I'm ecstatic for what the future of Stadia holds because of this blog post. It's like I was a little disappointed when the announcement was first made that this first party studio was shutting down, but then this blog post made everything better, in my opinion.
Okay. Barry, what about you? I'll move this back up again so we get the list of games.
Yeah, no worries. There's a couple of things that stood out to me in this blog post. First one is, personally, I feel like on some level, the community have been listened to. There's a number of us have, although it's not a roadmap per se, we've been talking about being more specific in terms of giving dates for titles arriving. And I think that certainly strikes a positive note in that sense. So it's good to see that, the content that they're kind of saying, here it is, and it's coming on this date. Bar obviously those last couple of titles, which there's obviously a few bits to tie up before then, before they can kind of officially say when it's going to arrive, which, we're cool with that. That's fine. If it's later in the year, that's not a problem, give an indication. They've got a good variety of title in there. Obviously there's a few platformers which have been pleasing for the, for Stadia in itself. The other thing that I think, obviously, it does strike a note on is, I think if we cast our mind back to late last year when we were talking about Stadia saying, well, in year 2 and 3, we've got up to 400 titles coming. we now know that actually by the end of 2021, we've now can expect 100. So that gives us a little bit of clarification on what we should expect throughout the remainder of 2021, which I think is important because it keeps everybody's expectations in check.
Yep, here we go. I'm going. Everybody, jot down the day and date here. I'm going to start off positive here. I am really happy that they have came out with this because they're giving us a roadmap. This is what we have been asking for. What games are coming and a rough timescales. The Killer Queen Black, Street Power Football, Hellpoint. I'm not so concerned about. But these other games, we know what games are coming now, and I am pretty pleased about that. Who's waiting for it? But I think this is just a start. If it's down to 100 games for Stadia this year, that is an average roughly. Now we're in the middle of February now. So you're talking roughly 10 games a month now. So each of these games is going to bring something. On this game list here, I have said this, and I've said it publicly on Twitter, so I'll just say it here as well. There's only one game which I think is a buy, and that is Judgment. The rest of the games, for me, is the Stadia trap off. I will wait till Pro. FIFA 2021 is a slight different use case for me because I think I said this before even the studio shut down. I think this is then building until next year for FIFA 22, and any sales they get now is going to be a bonus. So for me, FIFA will need to come under 15 quid because you can actually pick it up in PlayStation now for £22, so which is about $25 or so. So that game will have to come in cheap. But the other games, bar Judgment, it's one of them ones when people talk about on different podcasts. I'll wait till it's Pro. I'll wait till it's Pro. So again, I think the games look good. As Jem has been saying, Case looks like a good throwback, but these other games, not so much. But I am actually pretty positive that they've actually came out with a roadmap. So anybody else want to add into this before we go to the charts?
No, I think it's valuable. The only thing that has been plaguing me in the back of my mind, and I know some people are going to say not a chance, not going to happen, but I'm going to say it anyway. Looking at the point in the month that FIFA launches, and I think feeding into your point about kind of trying to plan maybe for 2022, there's a niggle in the back of my mind as to whether we're suddenly going to get a Pro announcement for March come the end of the month to say, look, we've had Madden, we've had Star Wars, FIFA 21 is what it is. It's that point in the month where it's just past the middle point, and we haven't had, well, with exception again of obviously this month with Little Nightmares, we haven't had one of those really for a little while. I don't feel where it's kind of been like a big title sort of hit in the middle of the month. I know it's probably an outside chance, but nevertheless, it's a worthwhile thought.
Yeah, what I think we're going to get with FIFA, I think we're going to get the free weekend as well. So I think that is pretty much nailed on. We're going to get a free weekend with FIFA to try and get people tempted into buying it. Again, the price point for that is going to be very, very important. Yes, you're not allowed to predict anything.
I get predictions wrong all the time anyway, so I shouldn't worry about it. But
yeah, I'm just interested to see if this is going to be a continuing trend. I think, as Dave has said in the chat, this needs to become a very, very regular sort of thing. I think they need to do one of these every month because it just sets everybody up and go. Dave, 30 quid would be too much. Like I said, for me, it's £22 on PlayStation right this minute. So you can go there, go into PlayStation and £22 and you can get FIFA. So and it's coming late to the platform. So I think the price needs to be under that. So touch wood that we'll see it go down. But it's again, since we're cloudy with a chance of games, we can actually move on to other platforms and discuss how this actually compares to the other platforms. This week on GeForce Now, they dropped 12 games for just this week. And I'm not sure if we're going to get more of these games over that period. This is just something to keep an eye on. And yesterday, Luna dropped No More Heroes, which is an absolute iconic game from a number of years ago. And I think they're going to continue to do that because they've been dropping games intermittently all over the time. So this is all heating up. So
absolutely. I do wonder partly whether maybe not necessarily, although as much as I'd love to give the community credit for speaking out, I do wonder whether they are, in terms of competition, whether Stadia have noticed other cloud competitors' communication and gone, hang on a minute, people like this. Actually, let's look in the forums. People are saying Stadia need a roadmap. We need dates. We need clarification. We need better communication. All that sort of stuff. And I do wonder whether that's also, along with the players voicing their opinion, whether their competitors communicating in that fashion has kind of made them react in this way.
Yeah, I think this is just a good first step. We just have to see this more often. If I know 100 games sounds quite a lot of games if you just say it out there, 100 games, but it's when you divide it down a month, it actually isn't really that much. 2 games a week is. I was hoping there was going to be some more because we were getting talked about there was 400 games coming over the next 2 years. So what's happened to them other 300 games? Are they all next year, or because of the situation Stadia has found themselves in, have they actually been pushed back? Again, there's some more questions out from this, what we need to maybe dig a little deeper into. But again, this is a good positive first start. And it's going to be what games are going to be coming. We've still got that big lingering one of Resident Evil 8 or Village, whatever way you want to say that. Is that coming to Stadia due to that leak? So I'm hoping we're going to get some more of this, and we'll see that up on Stadia for us to pre-order soon. Clyde Gamer, what game out from these ones are you most excited for?
Judgment.
Yep. Why are you excited for Judgment?
Because I feel it looks really good with the it's set in the Yakuza series, I think. It is made by Sega too, so that's another good sign.
Yep, it's another Sega game. Barry, what's your standout game there?
I'm going to be cheeky and I'm going to pinch 2. So for me, Kaze or Kaze, I think just looks like a real retro throwback, which looks like great fun. And I feel like I have to say it because I do play it over any other football game, but I have to kind of say FIFA. And that, just on a side note, that's also because I do really want to beat Ruben. And I know that he's looking forward to that.
You're a sellout. I'm a dictator and everybody has to do as I say. You're not to buy FIFA. No one's to buy FIFA.
I might not buy it yet. It depends on the price.
No, you can't mess about. But yeah, it's. I think there are 2 good shouts there. Case does look really interesting, and that is a Stadia Makers game, if my memory serves me right as well, which is going to be a good one to get. And obviously, Stadia have actually put the money into that to bring it. for me, the standout game is what we're seeing here now in Judgment, because it is a Sega game. It's day and date with the other places, and they could actually really promote this. If they get their marketing heads on, they could actually really push this so for PC players to actually play this, because this isn't actually coming to the PC. And if they get the marketing out there just to get that going, they could actually really do something there and get out from there. There we go. Because I never know what my YouTube thing is, because everybody uses my YouTube account, and I could be completely and utterly wacky what is coming up here. But Caves and the Wild Masks is one which is appealing to a lot of people. Do you think, and I'm just going to lead this into this, do you think any of these games are going to be pro games?
Absolutely.
At launch?
No.
Oh.
Purely because of looking at the dates that they are launching, I think it's highly unlikely. I think we'll see a little bit of a repeat pattern of launch, sell, maybe sale, or a slow trickle into pro. I mean, I think if we look at this, if I'm not mistaken, the Shanty games are on Luna Plus.
Yep.
So it kind of feels like their natural path is to go pro. Then obviously, I think some of the others will follow eventually.
Yeah. Charles, that is Judgment coming on. I'm just going to say this. I apologize if I came off bad on Twitter against you, Charles, but it's just me just responding, and sometimes I do come off a bit rude, maybe at times. But I'm just speaking how I speak, which is meant to be. When I'm on Twitter, everybody reads in far too much what I put on the Twitter at times when I'm just being myself. So I apologize if that comes off that way. But yes, it's Judgment, which is not coming to PC. So this could be a real big opportunity for Stadia to promote that for the PC users if they want to play that. So this is Shanty, which is on Luna. I think you're right with that. I think both of them are on it. I'm pretty sure.
I think they are. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, this is a good first step for Stadia, and I hope this is not. Here we go. We're going to blitz this, and we're going to be quiet until the 23rd of April when Judgment comes out. I just hope this is just going to be a continuing thing here. Like I do a big blog post a month, and I think that would be happy, because that is what GeForce Now does, and it actually really helps, because they come out and say, give the example for last week. 30 games are coming to at least 30 games are coming to GeForce Now this month. Here are the 30 games, bang, and then we'll get the bonuses on top of that. I think the wording on the blog post is at least 100 games are coming, or more.
It says more than
100 games are coming, which is absolutely great news. But it's going to what the big tale is going to be is what the games are.
Absolutely, that's going to be the important thing, isn't it? I mean, that's not to diminish games like Shanty, and it came from space and ate our brains. But whilst they are good, good games in their own right, they're not the all-out attracting games that people will probably want or demand from a gaming platform.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I have absolutely no problem with these games coming. I think when they go to pro, controversial, when they go to pro, I will play them, and I will have a lot of fun on it. But I can see people saying, "Oh, IGN have to cover this, GameStop have to cover this." Unfortunately, what's been announced here today, it isn't going to set the world on fire here. This is just like a standard blog post, basically, which Xbox do every week or PlayStation do, just getting the games out there. It's just really, it's a first step, and I think we all welcome it. Again, I always get told, Duncan, you're too negative. Duncan, you're too negative. I am making sure everybody hears. I am actually really happy that they have done this blog post, and it is a good step. But we need more steps along the line, and hopefully we will get them. And just to reassure everybody, what I'm actually really wanting is games for next year. Just to completely reassure. Yes, Duncan is happy. Isn't that shocking? But I wouldn't say ecstatic now, Sammy. Come on, get with the program. I'm happy that this is a good first step, and it is reassuring that there is games still coming. Barry, anything more you would like to add there?
No, I think your point there about obviously, we don't want to wish 2021 away, not by any stretch of the imagination, but I do agree with your point that having a marker or an indicator of to maybe some content that's likely to come in 2022 would be useful, because I think at this point, and albeit, it's still early in the year, I think we've seen indication of maybe one or two games that have sort of said 2022 that that they're going to hit Stadia at some point, which in itself is good. And as we go through the year, it would be great to have more content, from Stadia in the form of a blog post, maybe to say, look, we've got these, or even a little showcase event, just to say, here are more games that are likely to be coming into the next year. I think that would go a long way for people's confidence.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I agree. What we do not want anymore, or what I don't want anymore, is any more logo gates. Logo gates are an absolute pain. It just really upsets people. Like we've had it this week with Little Nightmares 2. I will say this again. Little Nightmares 2 coming to Stadia, and as a Stadia Pro game, is absolutely brilliant news. Absolutely great that there's a day and date, and I'm not saying, a AAA bang day and date, but it is a fairly known game, got a big, massive fan base, and that going into Stadia Pro day one was absolutely amazing. Where they've missed out is they haven't been able to. We don't know if it was down to contracts or anything like that, but they didn't advertise it, and people have actually bought Little Nightmares 2 on different platforms. And yes, there's a Reddit poster that actually says this work, and that's just really frustrating for me, because it is just a missed opportunity, and it's wasted marketing for Stadia. If they could get out there and promote Little Nightmares 2 is coming to Stadia Pro, all you have to do is pay your monthly fee and you've got access to it, or get your free month. How many people would have drawn in to actually play Little Nightmares 2? But we're not really saying that it's being promoted out there or advertised. See, this is some of my frustrations with it.
It is certainly a little bit of a roller coaster. I think, when we got Little Nightmares, the original title, on Pro last year, and obviously Little Nightmares 2 was launched, obviously we had, thinking back to that announcement, I think there was a bit of logo gate in the trailer when they announced it, but then if you actually went to the site, the Stadia logo was there. And then obviously where it started to get kind of confusing and the waters muddied for people was the Stadia logo disappeared off the Bandai Namco site for Little Nightmares 2. And that kind of threw people into confusion. And I think, as us as gamers, we need that clarity and that clarification of what's actually going to happen. Because as you say, rightly so, this week people have gone out and bought it on other platforms who may well be Pro subscribers who could have had it for free. They could have had £20 in their back pocket that they could have then gone and spent on the Stadia store on another title, putting money into the platform that they want to succeed. Because let's be honest, we all want Stadia to continue to grow and become that success. But if we're spending so much money elsewhere, then you're putting less money into that platform that you ultimately do want to succeed, which is not going to help it. It's a vicious circle.
Yeah, that is a real good point, because I know but believe it or not, I do want to spend money on Stadia, but they just need to communicate more, I think. And again, this is the brave good start, and I'm hoping this is going to be the change going forward, that they are just going to say that. We've got a couple of questions in chat here as well. Charles is asking here, do you think that Little Nightmares 2 coming the day before was a bit off damage control? Sorry, Clyde Gamer, you're now Charles. Barry, what do you think? Do you think that was damage control, or
no? I don't know. Obviously, nobody, with the exception of Bandai and Stadia, know the truth behind what is going on there. I don't think it was damage control. I think it was part of the plan. I think if I'm going to be brutally honest, and this is going to come across harsh, I think it was actually poorly executed. That full stop.
I'm not the negative one. I'm not the negative. I just think it was set up to go at Central European time, and maybe just got their wires crossed, and it was meant to go UK time, because that's like the standard sort of midnight UK time. Clyde Gamer, what about yourselves?
I don't think it was either, because I think it was just they were originally going to do it. They wouldn't have just come out and said, "Oh, here's Little Nightmares 2." I don't know what the actual story is. What's going on with that game?
Yeah, but it's really quite it's quite good. But my take is, I just think they just got the time slightly mixed up, and it was down as Central European time, midnight, instead of UK, which mean we got it a bit earlier. So if you remember back, that's sort of how it happened with Cyberpunk as well, because the West Coast GS got it really, really early, because it launched midnight GMT. So I think that worked out. They got it, I can't remember.
5 o'clock, wasn't it? I think something like that.
Some weird and wacky time. Samuel and the Clyde. Clyde Gamer, you're now Sammy and the Clyde. Do we think Little Nightmares 2 and Pro was a last minute addition? I'll let you guys answer it. Clyde Gamer, do you think it was a last minute addition, or do you think it was planned in advance?
Think it might have been a last minute addition, because of what happened with the controversy surrounding the games and entertainment stuff. That's just my opinion.
Cool. Barry?
No, I don't think it was last minute. I think that was probably maybe December, January time that an agreement was struck for that to go into Pro, on the basis of the fact that maybe even later than that. I don't think it was last minute, but I think it was certainly, I think maybe Stadia were in negotiations as to how to make it Pro, and I think Bandai probably just held out until that money was handed over in order for Stadia to get it into Pro.
I'm just going to go slightly different. I think this was agreed for quite a long time, but I think the holdup was more when it was going to come. I think they've been able to just get it out day and date. I think it was 50-50 if it was going to come day and date. Like sort of what happened with Rock of Ages, when we were told the date that it was going to be coming to Stadia Pro, but it's going to be the month after. Absolutely fine. I think they were trying to leave it as a surprise, which was probably a good thing. I think it was pretty close. It was going to come as a Pro game, but I think if they said if it was a Pro game, but it may be the week later, I think that would be just as good, and maybe able to generate some hype. So I'm pretty, again, the Little Nightmares 2 was just a mixed thing for me. It was really good that they got the game, but I think they just could have just handled it a wee bit better. So I think this is maybe a good time for us to end here. So Clyde Gamer, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at CloudGamer201, and you can also find me on Stadia at StadiaGamer201.
Oh, sorry, I just want to do one more thing quickly.
Okay.
The Stadia logo was found in some Harry Potter code. Yes, this was found in the CSS code on the Harry Potter website. I would be reasonably skeptical until it is fully announced. I know everybody wants to get really excited about it. It's a good sign that it's there for me, but don't get carried away about it. What do you think about this, Clyde Gamer? About Harry, basically what they find is a piece of code which says here's the Stadia logo, but it's not actually showing us yet.
I think until we hear something from the developer that we can't say anything. It might have been canceled or something, but we don't know what's actually going on with them. So,
what about you, Barry?
I think it's entirely, plausible. Warner Brother Games is, of course, signed on as a developer, as working with the platform. I don't see any reason why not, that it could arrive. And it's just been delayed as well, hasn't it? It's been pushed back to 2022 now, I believe. So, anything is possible.
Yep, absolutely. So Clyde Gamer said where you can find him here. Barry, what about yourself?
At Paramedic Games over on Twitter, and Stadia, Paramedic1703, and obviously right here on Cloudy with a Chance of Games.
And you can find me at One to Escape on Twitter, getting shouted by lots of people for things. So thank you all for watching, and I hope everybody has a good weekend and gets time to relax, and most importantly, have play some games and enjoy your time with your friends, or your family. Yes, for most people, it's going to be. It's going to say friends and family, but we're all flipping locked, or some of us are all locked down and can't leave the house. So again, everybody have a good weekend, and we will see you on the next time. Bye.
Bye.